space. Like kind of like I was like, why not
Sure.
to send my art to the space? Why not to like paint a rocket, or like why not to like be an first artist in the world who's doing art in a space? So I created a video, and I sent them my artwork to Elon Musk, asked him to send my art to the space. Jeff Bezos asked him to send me to the space to do art, and I asked Richard Branson to paint his rocket, the Virgin
That,
Galactic.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, and I sent my artwork to them. I will maybe share with you the video later.
Welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by my man, Audley Stephenson, the Odd Man.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, where our ongoing mission is to help you live your best audacious life ever. We inspire and empower you to do so, and really understand that there's so much world out there for us to go after, and it's always a pleasure to be here to share insights and stories and conversations that help you understand that and embark on your own unique journey. I truly appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us, and hope that you find the discussion here to be a source of both motivation and encouragement. Now, let's think of curiosity and wonder as the wind in your sails on that journey of life. And just as a sailor relies on the wind to propel their boat forward, our innate curiosity and sense of wonder can drive us toward our dreams and aspirations. When we embrace these forces, we become explorers in the vast ocean of possibilities, navigating uncharted waters, discovering new horizons, and ultimately finding our true purpose. Today, we have the privilege of speaking with Aisha Makara, a remarkable artist, entrepreneur, and author. Her life is a testament to the power of resilience and the transformative nature of travel. She has journeyed from being an orphan in a small village to becoming a world traveler and a successful businesswoman, all while nurturing her passion for art and personal growth. Aisha's unique perspective on life and her dedication to helping others find their own path make her an inspiring figure in the realm of self-discovery and creative expression. Her experiences and insights are incredibly relevant to our episode today as we delve into the themes of curiosity, wonder, and the significance of travel and personal growth. And, her journey exemplifies how embracing these elements can lead to profound change and fulfillment, making her the perfect guest to join us in our conversation today. So now that we've got you all set, let's turn to our chat with Aisha. Enjoy. Hi, Aisha. Thank you for joining me here today on the Audacious Living Podcast. I appreciate you taking the time to be here, so thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it too.
We were just sort of talking how much it's a blessing to sort of engage in these types of dialogues and to share and to take knowledge and help, and so you're excited to share, I'm excited to learn, and I think that creates a really good opportunity for possibly someone to get some encouragement in their own lives, and that to me would be totally thrilling if one person walked away going, I heard this conversation Audley and Aisha had, and they said this, and I used that, and here's how it helped me. Like, that to me is just, that's the best gift you can ever give me. And so thank you for allowing the opportunity to have this dialogue, to impact others. Here on this podcast, we talk a lot about, living, our best audacious life, and really encouraging individuals to take that pathway that's destined for them. And I really, truly believe, and much like yourself, that we all have our own individual path that we're destined to live down.
Exactly.
Some people might do things this way, some might do that way, but that doesn't mean that our journey has to be the same. And we have to search and find and discover what's meant for us. And so maybe as a starting point, because you are a world traveler, you're focused on happiness and that journey of self-discovery to figure out who you are, and as a path that you've gone through yourself. So maybe as a starting point, you can introduce yourself to our audience, tell us about your work that you've done, and what's gotten you to the point that you're at now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Aisha Makara, artist, entrepreneur, and author. All my life, I was, I have many dreams, and all my life since I was a kid, and I felt like a whole world is just a playground. And every time when I'm traveling to the new places, I'm learning something new about myself. I understand deeper that everywhere in the world is my family. Right now we are friends. We are family, and I started to kind of cultivate that. And by the time you know, that I was learning more about myself and about the world, I realized that we coming alone and we go alone, but we
Mm.
always have people. It no matter what, like where we are where we are in the life, who we are in life, what status we have. It doesn't matter. We're always surrounded by people. And when I started to create, for example, my a book, a Joyful
Okay.
Living Guidebook, I I um I want to share with people that all your dreams is real, but you what we get to do is move towards them. Like you can have a dreams, and it's great to have them. In the same time, understand how I can go and do them, create them. What type of like a steps I get to create to move towards this dream or that dream. When I started to travel around the world, first what I started to do, I was living in a small village. My mother abandoned me, and I was orphan, and I've been free. Let's say people like telling me, oh, it was like sad, blah blah blah, and I said like, no, I get to be independent since I'm two. Just be independent. Decided for myself. Decided what I get to do for myself. Yes, of
Hmm.
course, I had the adults around me who control me and let me like um, help me to grow up. And the reality, I was free. I did whatever I want. I always wander in the forest or in the steppe or like outside because it was safe. You
Right.
could do whatever you want. So I started to wonder, and I started to wonder more and more. And older I become, I end up in a not good company, or like you're a teenager, you started to hang out, you want to be cool, you want to be
Sure.
alone. I had
Sure.
a very strong like sense of belonging. I want to be like cool and belong to the company or being like whatever. But the in reality, what happened? I've been in this not good company of people, and we were stealing things, we were doing not good things, to the community kind of. But like we're kids, we're like 13, 14. What you do, who doesn't have parents, who doesn't have any kind of like a role model or like anything. So we don't think it's a bad, we just think it's cool.
Right. Right. Right.
And so many of my friends started to die of different accidents, like like riding after from the police on the motorbike, or like was stolen, and or of the like drug problems, because um, and it scares me. It started to scare me, and I was like 15, I think, about like 14, 15, and I started to think about if I'm going to survive until 18 or I'm going to die. I don't know, and
Mm.
I started to think about death more and more, and I've been suicidal as well. But like it's just like because it's that environment was very heavy,
Yes.
especially when you're living in very heavy environment, when nobody talks to you, nobody cares about you, and you feel like your mother abandoned you, and like it's like everyone is like treating you from outside world like outsider, or like some kind of like a trash, oh, nobody wants you, blah blah blah. And kids are very like brutal, they say very nasty things to you, and it's like you get to survive all of that, especially when you become a teenager. You
Mm.
feel a way more and more deeper towards like nobody wants you, something like that. Nobody wants to love you or something like that. So when I was 14 to 15, I decided to think who I'm going to be until I'm 60.
Gotcha.
I was thinking 60 years, it's like long life.
Future
Because,
thinking.
yeah, I was thinking it's just long life. What I want to do. And I said, I want to travel around the world for 10 years. And after I want to be businesswoman or like do my business or whatever in my mind, like, or and between 40 to 50, I want to be mentoring people I want to be mentor. Between 50 to 60, I want to like just volunteer, like volunteer for UNESCO or for UN or whatever. And after I die,
Hmm.
but the thing is, right now, I already have a plan until I'm 200. And, not plan, but ideas, what I want to develop, the way I want to, live my life and how I want to do things. So it's changed, it just happened like last year, I think, like 2 years ago, I started to think like, oh, what about if I will live like 200 years? But what happened in that moment when I started to think about traveling, so I started to think, oh, I get to start it now. I cannot wait until I'm free from this adult environment. So I started to do like a small trips outside, like a small town, just go for like a day, weekend, like just myself, take a bus or like hitchhike or whatever. And after I ended up in a hitchhiking club. I was 15, like between 15, 16, and I was about to finish the school, but like it was also not easy. Many things was not easy at that time of my life. I didn't want to finish. I didn't want to go to the school. I was like, so I didn't have any friends at school, no friends. I had many friends, and when I become a teenager or like moving towards adulthood, like no friends. Everyone is kind of like didn't like me. Nobody wants to talk to me, so I didn't feel like to come to school. And what happened is like I started to travel, and I ended up in this hitchhiking club, and I become like I was curious. I was just want to learn how they travel, like without money, because I didn't have any money, nothing, like I don't have nothing, I was just like being curious to learn how I can do the things, almost no spending anything. So I remembering I had this old man. He was in 50s, I think, like a very famous in Russia. He was talking about traveling, like a hitchhiking, traveling around the world, how he did it, and he wrote a book about that. I remember, and I was so fascinated by his story. And so he said to me, "Oh, not me, but like he was saying, if you want to travel around the world, it's better that you're moving a bigger place, like a capital, because it's going to be easy for you to kind of like navigate yourself and making money for like to travel." And I was like, capital? From like 700 people moving to like 15 millions? Like, it's kind of like not
that must have been
easy.
like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I mean, first time when I arrived to the capital, I was, I think 18, 17. I was like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. The city
And so
is
where are you
so...
now? Where the capital of where? Where's
I'm
that?
in the capital of Portugal, Lisbon. Right
Yes.
now.
Okay. Yep.
It's the best place for me, the size. So I end up in Moscow, and I feel like, oh my gosh, it's so big. I was so like overwhelmed. I remember I was so overwhelmed of the big city. I couldn't stay there even like 2 days. Even we had like this hitchhiking club, like a house or like apartment. People like let you to stay and teach you how to. They're very, very helpful. It was very helpful. But in reality, I couldn't stay first time. I ran away, because I was like, oh my, it's so crazy. I was feeling so small. I feel myself so like not important, I feel like myself like I'm nothing, something like that. And I feel like I'm almost want to cry, because that city was so brutal, like cities are normally like brutal, they're not so like nice to you. It's more cold.
Right.
And I don't say like Moscow was like a cold. It was very friendly, like I took me extra year or like year and a half or something like that to move to Moscow,
Right. Okay.
And so I continued to travel. I continued to explore, continue to do my things. Like I learned that if I worked for 10 months, even I was studying already, that I went to the university. And I was like feeling, okay, if I work for 10 months, I was hustling, I was doing real estate, I was doing this. I was starting first write the list over what I can do without any education, because I didn't have any education. In the city where I was living, it's about like 500,000. I mean, I moved to the university. It's like a smaller city. And it took me also a while to kind of adapt. But anyway, so I started to kind of like make a list, and I started to go for these works, just ask, just knock on the door and telling them, oh, I want to work. I want to like do this. So I was doing promoting. I was doing advertising. I was doing many, many things because I want to make money, like to travel.
Sure.
For like, and I went to my university teachers, and I was telling them, can I take exams before, because I'm going to travel for 2 months, 3 months, like around Russia. And I was coming to them and just ask questions, this is what I want to do. This is what what my plan is right now. And some exams they let me to take before, some exams I get to take after when I come back. But the important in reality is I learn when I making money, so I need to act like this extra money, or like emergency money. I call them emergency money, to like have it with me, like somewhere deep, like a saw it, like, and don't touch that money. It's not like for touch. If something happened with my health, I'm super sick or something like that. So I get to go back home so I can buy flight tickets or train, whatever I need to do that in that moment. So normally I was doing like a flight tickets, because I was feeling that it's going to be faster. It's if I come back to home, to my friends, where so I can take care of my health. Right. It's never happened. So everything went well. But in reality, my
nice
friend,
to have it though. It's a good plan.
Yeah, it's nice. Exactly. My friends got very sick, so I get to help her. One of my girl, like I was traveling with, I get to help her. But anyway, it was many situations. Of course, when you're traveling, when you're hitchhiking, it's a lot of different. Like it's completely different world. But my story is about like the traveling. That would open up the space for me. That I end up in Moscow. I started to work there, also hustling, continue because I was so active at my university, they sent me to Moscow. So I was transferred to Moscow, because of my active work. I was very like active leader. I was in leadership and many other things because I was hyper, I always doing things because I was not drinking, I'm not taking no drugs, nothing. I was like completely pure, like I just want to do things. That's it.
Sure.
And I want to travel. That was my like kind of passion that time. I was like, I want to make money and just go and travel. Like I'm going this places, I'm going that places, and it was just like this, And so I ended up moving to Norway as exchange student. And many of my friends was telling me, oh my God, some of my friends was telling me, it's not possible. It's thousands of people who wants to move to Norway. I want to move to Netherlands actually, but the point is like I just wrote the letter, I did all the process of interviewing, whatever I get to do, and I get in. And I was like, okay, it doesn't matter if I get in, awesome. If not, awesome too. I tried, I get in and I moved to Norway. I was like very, very scared to move to Norway because I didn't speak any English. I just speak Russian. I didn't speak any other language that time. And what happened is I started to learn English when I get letter from the university, and I get to learn English. So I went for like a month taking some English classes, and and when I moved to Norway, it's opened completely new door of traveling for me. And from Norway, after 1 year in Norway, I also again I was so entrepreneurial. I was doing like many businesses there, pizza delivery, sushi, like other like many like
whatever you could do, right?
Yeah, whatever I can do, like just kind of like making something or like working, because I'm like that's my kind of personality. I'm just active and hyper. So like I got to kind of like every time do something. And I started to travel more and more and more. And after that, I got a job as engineer because my background is engineering. But so I started to work for the Norwegian government. I started to travel more. I started to organize my time already. Like, okay, I overwork, instead of working, taking the money for my overwork time, I was taking a free time, so I can travel more.
Sure.
Because I was like, it doesn't matter. I will pay like so much taxes over this. It's like, I don't want to have this money. I prefer to take days off. So I started to travel more, and I learned how to organize my time, my year, my 5 years, and I started to get bored, after a while. I traveled so much that I enjoy it. It was very like organized every time and very like mindful. And one day I just feel like it's boring for me. I don't want to anymore like travel so much, I started to feel like I want to do like a business, so like create more something like sustainable. But I didn't want to do it in Norway. I want to do it somewhere else. So I moved to, after a while I moved to Portugal. I started my business. But the point is like the everything in life, you get to just create the action towards that. And that action can be a question that you raise inside yourself, and after raising that question to the people and listen what they're going to tell you. But also, in what I'm learning right now as well, that every time when you asking questions, it's not like all the time you get to like accept that, because you get to listen to all of that and create your own. Like, okay, but it just open up that space where you can create your own ideas, the way you can do it for yourself. Because as you said, like each path is different. So we get to create our own like way of living life and create the reality that we want to live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I so love that, and I love the when you talk about a question as an ask and an action in itself. Um, I I'm just a big fan of wonder and curiosity. I think when you can be in a state of wonder and always be curious and exploring. I mean, first off, it eliminates any judgment that you think you might know about a situation because you're asking questions because you legitimately want to know. And then but it also opens up a whole new world for you. So Aisha, I'd love to know, how important has curiosity been to you on your personal journey?
I love the curiosity. Really, I'm like I was telling to my friend all the time, like be curious, wonder, ask many, be as a kid. Like you understand that you're adult, and at the same time you're a kid. Don't be afraid to ask questions. When you have a question, just ask it. It's not about like, oh my gosh, this question is too not, not important. It is important. Each question that you
Mhm.
raise is important question.
Yes. Yeah.
And I believe like my curiosity leads me where I am today, because like, for example, one of my dreams was being actress in Hollywood. And my friends was telling me that time, Hollywood, why? You don't even speak English. And I'm like, if I want to be an actress, I want to be an actress around the world. And why not to be in Hollywood? And I went there. I tried, I went to Los Angeles. I tried my luck. And I would be successful if I would stay, but I decided like it's not something I want. It's that's ideal. I'm very grateful for that experience because it opened up the other question in me. What is my dream? What I want to create in the world? What impact I want to create in the world? What legacy I want to leave? I want, not because somebody put this idea of dream to be an actress or be an actor or whatever, but like I want to create my own idea of the dream. That's how I started to think about that. And I'm like, who I am, what I want to be, what is my dreams? And
Mhm.
I started to kind of go deeper in that. And I discover that every time when I'm creating something or I have
Mhm.
the ideas, I make them happen. I'm
Mhm.
making in the real world. So, for example, art. I'm an artist. I'm the first artist in the world who sent the art to the space. It was a SpaceX. And my friend was my artist friends in
And what
Florida.
kind of art? What kind of art do you do?
I'm doing more abstract, geometrical, like
Yeah.
shapes.
Okay.
Um, it's more like I call it like a more like a galaxy spacey art. It's more like
Oh
a
man.
dots and triangles and
And so I want to go back because what you said is a big deal. You're the first artist to send, your artwork to SpaceX. That's a big deal.
SpaceX, yeah, to the space,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. What led you there? How'd that happen?
So as an artist, I was living in Lisbon that time. I was very, very burned out of the work. I was like, as many other in 20s and, in our late 20s, went for the first million. I was like, oh, that's something interesting. I want to have a business. And I also learned, it was a different idea at that time, was a startup or business. And I was like, many people say to me, oh, why you not to take a startup? You have so many ideas. Why you cannot like just do the startup? And I said, startup is like something it can work out or cannot work out. It's like it's more like it was like airy for me. I didn't want like business. You're building it, you're creating it, you're building. It's like completely different way of structure. Like a startup is just it's come from the Silicon Valley, like just like last 20 or 30 years, less than 30 years. And for me, I was feeling I want to do business. And I started the business. I was in a startup world. If I would go for the fundraising rounds, and I will raise probably million like very fast after 6 months, whatever. In reality, I didn't want to do that. I want to build up. So I started to do that. And what happened is, I learned when you're working very focused, after 2 3 years of building the business, but you get to be very very mindful the way you set up your team, because you get to have this mind as a leader, understanding how you can help and support your team, like people who is working with you. And that was after 3 years, I think. On the fourth year, I knew already that we're going to make a million, and in revenue, like even more.
Right.
And in reality, what I learned from that experience, you're working so much, you don't have any time to travel or do anything except just work, and after 3 years or so, I started to burn out, like, because I didn't have that capacity of, like, I was, I couldn't balance. I couldn't learn that moment of my life to balance. I was like too much in my work, too much like doing the thing that
Right.
I was not, it was not my passion. That's what I discovered. That was not my passion. I was just doing because of the money, because everyone wants to be rich. Everyone to want to like make that million or whatever. And like, and just, uh, and I started asking myself, why do I need this million? For what? For what? Like, if my life is already good, I'm traveling, I was doing my things. Yes, maybe I don't make a million, but I always can manage my life and structure it in the way that I can travel, I can do this, I can do like many, many other things. And so I burned out, I lost myself. I mean, I think it's with many people it's happening, and I was doing art. My art was my hobby. It was my like kind of just like a way of expressing myself, but I didn't consider myself that time like an artist. I was just like, yeah, but my friends was always buying my art, like, and they like
Right.
to get it, and I was like, oh, maybe I should be an artist. And in that moment of my life, to be an artist, I want to be in Miami, Miami Art Basel, because I
Sure.
did already been in Art Basel. I'm like, I want to be in Miami in Art Basel. So I moved, and I give myself like 1 year. I said to myself, oh, I'm going to move in 1 year, maybe 2 years. I'm going to be in Art Basel, and I'm going to be an artist there. And it happened, but the thing is like, when the COVID hit, and the many things, but I end up in 2021 in Art Basel. And but the point is, I learned so much about business, about art business, about like how the business works. And I was disappointed. I was a little bit like mad. I was like, of course, because my personality, I'm like rebellion. I was like, no, I don't like it. And I started to express my dislikes, like
Yes. Yeah.
really, because I didn't understand the politics. I didn't like, I did understand politics from the business perspective of it, but from the art, as an artist, I feel like I found myself, I feel like I get to
Yes.
express myself, I get to express the rights. And I was thinking about like what the struggle artist is, the idea of the struggle artist. And I'm like, what is struggle artist? What do you mean struggle artist? When I was like selling my art for thousands of dollars, my art, like the artist friends coming, like the people who are in art for many, many, many years, for all their life, and I'm just starting, my
Right.
career as an artist,
Right.
they're coming to me and they say to me, you sold your art for like 4,000, $5,000. And I said to them, yes, but you're just starting, and you're just first year, second year in art. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm starting a very long time ago, because I'm already built so many other things in my life. Why I
Yes.
get to sell myself very cheap? Why? Like, that's my price right now. My little art is
Yep.
$1,000.
Yep.
The other ones is like more expensive, but the thing is like, that's my price right now. And I
Yes.
said to them, in 10 years, if I'm not going to be an artist for 10 years, my prices is going to be maybe 100,000 for the piece. I don't know. But now that's my price, and people were
Right.
buying art. But in reality, I started to think bigger. I was like, yes, okay, I'm an artist,
Love
it's
that.
great. I accomplished to be an art Basel. What's next? And I had these dreams when I was working with kids as an art teacher. I was communicating with them, like kind of like sharing the ideas. I love to talk to kids, and I love to like work with them. They're teaching you a lot of things, and about
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
thinking and being open and being kind of curious. And that's the idea of like sending my art to the space. Like kind of like I was like, why not
Sure.
to send my art to the space? Why not to like paint a rocket, or like why not to like be an first artist in the world who's doing art in the space? So I created a video, and I sent them my artwork to Elon Musk, asked him to send my art to the space. Jeff Bezos asked him to send me to the space to do art. And I asked Richard Branson to paint his rocket, the Virgin Galaxy,
That.
galactic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and I sent my artwork to them. I will maybe share with you the video later. I have it somewhere in YouTube. Um, and from my perspective, I was just doing it as a kid. Why
Sure.
not? And people like saying to me, oh my gosh, and I said, why not? I just send them to their offices, to the like head offices, my artwork, and little like letter asking them, like as a kid do, to the Santa Claus or whatever.
Sure.
And Elon Musk did, I mean, it's not like this. It's like my friend, she sent me information about like it was an artist who wants to send the art to the space. I applied, I went through the interview, blah blah blah, and it was like also like completely different journey. Many things happened in my life that year, so it was not easy like to do that. And I see like a determination, and because it's one of my dreams, I didn't see like any way, like how say, like any blocks to not accomplish it. I was doing it. I was continue to communicating. I was continue to moving forward with that, and I made it. My art, and they selected two of my artworks, and they engraved them in gold, and it's somewhere flying right now in the space. I don't
So
know,
beautiful.
moving.
That's a wonderful
So
story.
all the dreams is.
And I was just going to say, it's, it starts with a dream or a thought, an idea, and it becomes a dream, and then you make it a reality. And I think going back to your point, you're talking about actions, and, questions are a form of actions. And that question, why not, or why can't I think is a really, really fabulous one. And I just love the way you manifested that.
Exactly.
Aisha, I want to also talk a moment here about the significance travel has played in your overall development, maybe your continuous reinvention, it sounds like, because every time you travel, you learn something new about yourself, and you go in a new direction. How important has that been for you?
Traveling is very important. I'm still traveling a lot, but it's more organized because I balance it right now my life, and I know that I get to travel. It's just for the weekend, or I like to kind of like switch things around. Otherwise, I get bored. I just like many years ago, I discovered I have a borderline disorder, and that's helps me to kind of like learn about myself better, and kind of like I I made such a big progress the last 10 years, the way I work and who I am today and the way I was, like many years ago. I did amazing progress towards myself, the way I can balance my life, and when you have like a borderline, it's like it's not easy because like we have the issues with attention, we have many other things that we cannot be in one place all the time because we get bored,
Yes.
we get all like switching around. That's what I'm helping myself every time, like, okay, I get to do this, I get to do that, I can travel a little bit here. So, and I come back home, and I know that every time when I have a podcast or like something to do on my computer, that's why I feel like all my work I want to manage like next to 3 years, like only computer. It doesn't matter where I'm in the world. I will, work on my computer. But the thing is, I don't want to do that in the way that, just moving. It's about like to organize my life that I'm happy. I'm feeling like I'm always happy. I have this like I'm joyful. I have this like complete joy within me, and I feel like I already have it. But the thing is, it's like it's cultivating it, it's practicing, and that's why I learn that every time when I'm traveling and learning a new culture, new language, people are so happy and joyful to see you and meet you and their life, and or every time they talk to you, they were like, you're kind of from a different world for them because they never traveled, they never have anything like a new person, like who has the wisdom, who has some kind of like a different perspective of life.
Yes.
So I, in my world, for example, I don't see any kind of like, I'm just myself, I'm just me, myself, and I say to myself, I don't have kids, I don't have a husband, I don't have anything like that. And it's even I would probably organize my life in a little bit different way, but I would still like travel, a lot. Right now in this reality, I don't have it. So what's stopping me to go and travel around the world or new places and move to this place or move to that place? It doesn't, nothing, just myself. Or because of my friends and people getting attached to their friends.
Sure.
I would move to Japan, but I have my family here, my daddy, my mommy, and and I'm like, move to Japan for 1 year. You don't need to move for all your life. Just go and try. And I used to say to the people, like, go and just put a 2 weeks vacation to Japan. I don't know, like if it's your dream, try first if you really like that country. And when people are just like to, kind of like think about that, and after they get so attached to their reality that they're here, so comfortable, right? If they're going out it's not easy to adapt. It takes time. But I was moving already for so many times. So like for me, it's so easy. But my favorite place is actually Lisbon, Portugal. You know, it's my like home. I feel very home here, comfortable, being myself, you know, feeling the love and everything that I have here. I'm so happy to, you know, to have it.
That's amazing.
It's
So
it's
lovely.
it's because you're learning, you know. I just feel like
Yes.
when you're traveling and you like staying even for 1 month, 3 months, whatever, in a different spot, um, you're learning where you feel home, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
And in my life, for example, I was living 3 years in Florida. You know, I was living 1 year in Los Angeles and 1 year, like almost 8 months or something like 7 months in New York. For me, America is amazing. Everything is great, and I'm just feeling like it's they have like I think like Americans have kind of like the disorder. They cannot organize themselves. And my like when I moved to America, I just knew when I like have my money, for example, and I started to kind of build up my credit story. And
Hmm.
people was asking me like, how do you survive? How do you? I said like, you know what? It's easy. You get to just focus on one thing for
Yes.
like maybe 6 months, and you will be fine. That system works in such a amazing ways. Like I
Hmm.
mean, credit system and everything. If you like know the mathematics a little bit and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
organize just the basic things, it's fine. You will always have extra 2,000, 3,000 in your account, just, you know, like savings. It's enough, you know, for like, for something, if you build up for 5,000 to 10,000, awesome. But it takes time to build to that
Yes, it
level, you
does.
know?
It does.
And I just say to them, to the people, you know, I love to live in the moment. So for me, I don't think about, 10 years, 20 years, something like that. But I still have saving account in Norway, you know, I still have like some here and there, like a savings. But for me, I don't want to, I'm not like a gambler. I don't like a gamble. I don't like to
Yeah.
do
No.
anything
No.
like
Yeah.
that. And, but people in America love to gamble. They love to do all of that. And I'm like, and suffer, like suffering, like I call it like suffering, but it's not the suffering that's like of starving of food or
No. No.
something.
I
It's
understand what you're
different
saying.
level of
I
mind
understand what you're saying.
suffering. I call
Yeah.
it like this. And that's why I feeling like every time people wants to like something new, give me new experiences, new ideas, new like something new. And it's like endless,
Yeah.
endless,
Yeah.
you know. And for me, it's too much. It's like you're just running around as a hamster all the
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
like wishing that you will get something new, but it's no new. It's all
Doesn't
the
change.
same. It's
That's right.
just you get to understand where your place is, you know,
Right.
what you want to do and how
Yep.
you want to organize, how you want to imagine. I
Yep.
call it like
And
and
that's very important
create your
too.
life. Yeah, your
No, it's,
reality.
no, it's
And
very,
that's
very,
where the curiosity and wonder
yes.
and the, you know, and joy, how
Everything comes
joyful,
from.
because like it doesn't matter you are sick or like you are handicapped or you're like it doesn't matter which condition you are right now. The matter your attitude, you know, the matter of
I
the
love
way
it.
you approach
I
your
love it.
life and loving whatever you have in the moment, you know,
Yes.
because each moment is so different in each day is
Yeah.
so unique and
Yes.
beautiful itself. People don't see that. They like living in this like
Real.
I call like monotone. They don't see the beauty of
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
day. They
It's such
don't
a,
take the different road, for example, to the job, or
yeah.
they
Yeah.
don't even think like I can wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and go and see the sunrise. You
That's
know, they don't
beautiful.
think
Yeah.
about that.
No, you're right. And I think what happens is when you limit your way of thinking, you lose the opportunities that present yourself in the world. And you're if you said to yourself, well, I can't travel, and listen to all the things that you wouldn't have experienced because you did travel. And I really think that's a tremendous point. I love the way travel has impacted you. Aisha, I've loved the way that you've shared today and really how you've explored and shared how you've explored new things and how they've impacted you and profoundly made a connection, a difference in your world. For listeners that wanted to learn more about your work or connect with you directly, where could we send them?
So I have on my website, Aisha.today, is AISHA.today, where you can see about my artwork, some of my artworks. You can connect with
Beautiful.
me. you can have a session with me. I give a mentoring session, and
Yes.
you can also find my book. It's called like Joyful Living Guidebook, where I'm sharing this also with my art, and like and I have some advices or ideas, just like a thoughts that people can think about and create their own ideas and thoughts. It's on Amazon. It's called like Joyful Living Guidebook by Aisha Makara. You can find it.
Yeah.
So right now it's a Christmas time, so get
Yes,
ready.
what
So
we'll
come
do
up
is
with
we
it.
will make sure that we have that in the show notes below so people can connect with that directly and
Yeah, I
they
can
can
send to
access
you
that.
the Amazon, and I can
Oh,
send
that's
you the website.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Aisha,
and
this has been such a delightful conversation. I so appreciate the manner in which you've shared. I love to hear about the journeys and the explorations, and then and that really and how that stems from being curious. And so thank you for sharing. Congratulations on your work. I know you're lots to do yet. You're not done yet, but congratulations and thank you for being a guest today here on the Audacious Living Podcast.
Joyful Living. Namaste.
Back we are here on the podcast, and much thanks to Aisha for being here. You know, during our conversation, she shared some powerful insights about the importance of curiosity and how it has shaped her life and career. She emphasized that asking questions and exploring new ideas can open doors to opportunities we never imagined possible. Aisha's journey is a beautiful reminder that following our dreams often requires us to step out of our comfort zones and embrace the unknown. And come on, there's nothing more audacious than doing that. What I personally loved about the interview with Aisha is her infectious enthusiasm for life and her unwavering belief that we all can create our own paths. Her story of sending her art into space is not just about achieving a dream, but also about the courage it takes to dream big and pursue those dreams relentlessly. Aisha's perspective encourages us to cultivate a sense of wonder and to approach life with a curiosity of a child, always eager to learn more and to grow. If you'd like to learn more about Aisha and her work, I'd encourage you to connect with her directly. Of course, you can find her details in the show notes below, but her website, www.aishatoday, is where you can explore her artwork, discover her book, and even book a mentorship session. All the relevant links, again, are in the show notes below for your convenience. Aisha also has a fantastic resource for anyone looking to enhance their life journey. And again, her book is Joyful Living Guidebook, and it's available on Amazon and packed with insights and practical advice to help you pursue your dreams and live joyfully. So be sure to check it out. And I want to thank you as our listeners for checking out another edition of the Audacious Living Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode and found value in our conversation, please take a moment to like, follow, subscribe, or share this podcast with your friends and family. Your support helps us continue to grow and bring inspiring stories and insights to more listeners. Until next time, remember to live boldly, embrace your curiosity, and pursue your dreams with audacity. Until next time, stay safe, be kind, show love to one another, and be audacious.
You've been listening to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by Audley Stephenson. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be audacious.